investing world?
That was the first thought, right? Like, okay, even if I go as far as I can in this field and I become the best, like that, even that doesn't get me where I want to be. So why am I going to keep doing it? Why am I going to keep going in this direction? Like, I'm just going the wrong way. And that's when I started thinking, I started thinking about like businesses and how could I do more and better and that sort of thing. And I started looking into flipping houses, right? And that's what I really wanted to do. And that's what I was looking at. I was like, I'll buy a house at a discount, fix it. I got my family member.
Yo, what's up, everybody? Muchas gracias. Hey, I'm so grateful for y'all taking the time out of your day and time to check out my YouTube channel. And I'm here, super excited. I have Christian Hernandez. He's like a top-notch killer. He's a smooth closer. He's a part of our sub-2 community as well. Christian, super grateful, man, for taking time out of your busy schedule, out of your business, out of your friends to spend time with me to share your journey, man. Thank you.
Thanks, man. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, this is awesome, man. Super excited. So, Christian, I don't know if you want to tell us a little bit about your background. Like, were you born in Mexico? Were you born in the States? What part of Mexico? We can take the conversation.
My family. I was born in Guadalajara, right?
Nice.
I was born in Guadalajara, and even though I was born over there and I was growing up over there, I kind of knew that my like half of my family was over here. So it was like, okay, like we knew we were coming over here, but we just didn't know when or what, And then when I turned 12 years old, that's when, we moved out here. So I was like in 6th grade or something like that, right? So that's when I moved out here with my mom.
What part where'd you move to? Like, did you migrate to California or Texas, or where'd you?
Orange County, California, in California.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. Yeah, I was brought at the age of 8 to near Pasadena, Azusa, California.
Oh, nice.
I lived there for about 5 years or so. So
Nice.
so at the age of 12, I mean, that language barrier to me, it was a little bit difficult at the age of 8. So at age of 12, I know there's a large Hispanic population, right? A large Mexican population, but still, right? Picking up that second language. How did that go for you?
Yeah, I guess it wasn't easy, man. I don't know how it happened. It just kind of, like I kind of didn't have much of a choice. I kind of just
don't think about it, huh?
Yeah, but it was tough, man. And I remember even growing up, I used to I don't know. I thought that I used to get into a lot of fights all the time, and I thought they were dissing me or they were saying something about me or something, when they really weren't, like they just didn't know any better. But it wasn't easy, But I'm glad I was able to learn.
Yeah.
And
I know that feeling, man. It was like, because I remember kids would be playing, right? And you're like, man, like, ¿qué están diciendo? And you're like, I want to play.
yeah,
Yeah. So
yeah.
that's
And
pretty
then
cool.
the part that I moved to, that it wasn't like a lot of Hispanics. I moved to in Orange County. I moved to this city called Laguna Hills, and it's in southern Orange County. And there's some Hispanics, but there wasn't a lot, back then.
Yeah. There were a few as well in Azusa, but not many. But it's interesting how our mind works when we're little, huh? It's just
Yeah,
like, you don't overanalyze it, you don't overthink it. It's like you just do it.
yeah.
Man, so you grew up there in California. So what was your early stages? Like, what did you go to college?
I joined the army when I was in. So my mom had married. She had gotten married, and she started getting her like citizenship stuff, paperwork. And I was like 17, so I applied. I was able to apply with them when that was happening.
Yeah.
And so and I even graduated high school, and I still didn't have citizenship. I didn't have anything. I was like in limbo. We were waiting for the residency, but I kind of realized, like, man, it's a lot, right? Like, I don't know if I could afford to pay rent here in Orange County, and and pay for school at the same time, and then I want to do all these things, but like, where am I going to get the money to do all these things? So that's why I ended up joining the military, right? I was like, okay, well, I don't have to pay rent. I'm going to make money here, and they're going to pay for my school. I'm going to do it. And that's why I ended up
Thank you for
doing.
your service. Thank you
Thanks,
for your
man.
service,
Thanks.
man. How long did you do that for?
I did it for 4 years. I just did one term. Yeah.
Was it not? You're like, no, yep, I did. Nah, I'm not. This is not me. Is that how it
Um,
kind of, or were you,
you
or
know what it
something
was
else
about?
triggered
I
it?
just didn't like to. I didn't think it was fair that I made the same money as everybody else. I just thought it was like such a stupid thing, like so unfair. Like these guys are bums and they don't know how to do anything, and they're just like goofing off, and I'm making the exact same amount as them. That's not
Yeah,
fair, and
and
that's
then
how it works.
and then you could rank up, right? But then it's kind of weird how that works. My brother's in the military, and he tells me stories. He's like, you have to wait to get ranked up, and then it's like this whole, you know, thing with whether you do rank up or not, and it's like,
Yeah, yeah, and when I was getting out, I actually ended up going to special forces selection. Like I signed up for it, and I thought, hey, if I get it, I'll sign up again with them, and if not, I'll get out. That's it.
yeah,
And I ended up going, and then week 2, I ended up getting cut, and I got cut, and I was like, okay, I'm going home then, and
dude.
that's what happened.
So how did Christian go from that moment where he's like, all right, I'm done with the army? You know, what's next for Christian at that point in time? Did you have like friends that were telling you, hey, come and work for me? Or it sounded like you already had that entrepreneur mindset where like, I need to make money because I'm good at something, something.
Yeah,
How did
no.
that work out?
So at the time, I ended up getting a degree in like computer science and that sort of thing,
Mm,
right? So I graduated, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna go get out, go to school, and I'm gonna do this IT thing, right? So I go right to school, started getting a bunch of the IT certifications, right? So I got A plus, Network plus, Security plus, right? I got the certified hacker certification. I got a bunch of them, right? All kinds of stuff, but and I was working in that field. That's what I ended up doing when I got out. I was working as an IT technician. I was working for a company, um, doing, setting up businesses setting up the IT for the businesses,
the
right? Like for
infrastructure.
hotels, yeah, hotels,
Mm,
law firms, that sort of thing. So I was doing that, right? That's when I really started looking into real estate. That's what I was doing. I had already graduated, right?
wow.
I was starting, but then that's one thing I realized too. I was like, man, this field is like really competitive, like really, really competitive,
Mm,
right? And even if I really work, I'm the best, and I work so hard, like the ceiling is like not too high, right? Like I don't know, I didn't know at the moment, especially I didn't know too many people making like over 100K. Even
mm,
100K seemed like a lot of money back then. So it's like, man, even
yeah.
100K, but 100K, how much is that a month? Is that enough? Like, I don't know. I didn't think it was enough.
So that got a little, that grew something in you. You're like, okay, yeah, this is great, but how did that? At what point did you make the steep step into the real
Well,
estate investing world?
that that was the first thought, right? Like, okay, even if I go as far as I can in this field and I become the best, like that, even that doesn't get me where I want to be.
Mm,
So why am I gonna keep doing it? Why am I gonna keep going in
mm,
this direction? Like I'm just going the wrong way. And that's when I started thinking, I started thinking about like businesses and how could I do more and better and that sort of thing. And I started looking into flipping houses,
mm,
right? And that's what I really wanted to do. And that's what I was looking. I was like, okay, I'll buy a house at a discount, fix it. I got my family members. They'll help me fix it. They'll help me. We'll figure something out and then sell it. And that's it. That's how I'm gonna do it. But then I realized, like, okay, it's really easy to say something like that, but then now you got to find the deal, right?
right.
And then that's a whole nother thing. So me finding the deal for my flip is what made me find wholesaling and what all this
Wow.
was and stuff like that.
Did you have friends that you knew that were already doing real estate investing, or
Oh
did you
no,
have
no, I
no?
didn't have nobody. No, I
And
just watched a bunch of stuff on YouTube, and And I've met people, but I met people through meetups. So I'd go to meetup.com or whatever, and I'd look, see who had like real estate events nearby, and I'd go. I'd see, and I really didn't have much going on then, but I'd go just to meet people, just so I could see, because I felt like that was the first step, right? Like if you want to do something, right, it's like you need to find a bunch of people that are already doing it. So that's why I wanted to plug myself with people local that were already doing it.
Man, so when you didn't have that experience, right, and you were meeting up these investors, right, that were maybe already making deals, they always say, hey, show them value, bring value. How are your interactions with the people that were already making deals? Was it more like, hey,
Yeah,
let me help
well,
you find your deals, or was it how did you approach that?
I was hungry, right? And I kind of told them like, look, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what's going on, but I'm gonna get into this field. So I want to bring you deals. I want to bring you opportunities, and maybe you help me, close them. Maybe you. I don't care if you make most of the money. I don't care if I just learn from it. But I wanna do this with you. Like I'll bring you opportunities from people that raise their hand and say that they want to sell it. Like my mindset was already like I'm not gonna call you just to call you. I'm gonna call you because I have a lead right here and it needs your help.
Dude, yeah, that's powerful, man. For somebody new, right? That's how you bring that value, right? Being able to
Yeah.
say, hey, we have an opportunity here, right? That we all can make a little bit of change.
Yeah.
That's good, man. So now, you started flipping. Did you actually go through a first flip, or did you hold
Not
off
not
and you're like,
not for a long time after I wholesale. Like once I found wholesaling, and I was like, whoa, maybe I could just do this and just save more money and
yeah,
do this, right? Like get experience finding good opportunities, and that's what I started doing. I just started wholesaling really heavy, and I did end up doing a few flips, right? But it wasn't like I didn't jump on the first one I had. I didn't. I was so patient, and then I had some really good opportunities that were a no brainer, and I was like, okay, this one I'm not selling. This one I'm doing.
So when it comes to wholesaling, right, for probably some folks that are not familiar with the real estate investing world, right, that's just you're able to find a property at a and you negotiate, right, at a discounted price, and you're able to put it under contract. Then you find an end buyer, right, and you make a
Mm-hmm.
difference off of whatever you locked it in for to whatever you can sell it for. So even within that wholesale industry, there are so many different types of opportunities, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's the pre-foreclosures, there's the direct to agent approach. What was your approach at the beginning? How are you getting these wholesale leads?
My approach was always the foreclosures,
Mm,
pre-foreclosures, right? I was trying at the different stages, but that's always been my approach.
mm,
And yeah, I mean, it's been okay with me. I don't, I don't know. I didn't like talking to agents. I wasn't confident. If I'm honest, I wasn't confident enough to talk to agents. I felt like they knew way more than, and even though if that's not the case, right? But I just felt like
mm-hmm,
maybe they know way more than me, and I don't know. I just didn't have the confidence, so I didn't even try it. Now. If somebody was telling me today, like Christian, because I'm from Southern California, I'll tell you in Southern California, there's a lot of deals that come from real estate agents. If
mm,
somebody told me, hey Christian, I want to start wholesaling, I don't have a lot of money, I wouldn't even advise you to get a lot of money. I'd say, okay, start calling agents, start submitting
yeah,
offers with agents.
build
Cheapest.
relationships with those agents.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Exactly.
that's so good, man. Because that there are those, and the conversations are even different, right? Like when you're talking
All
to a
different.
direct seller or to a direct agent, just earning that agent's trust so they can, pass you some possibilities down the road, right? And
Mm-hmm.
and and
Exactly.
on the foreclosure leads, you have made immense patience and an immense follow up, man, because that's what you need, right? With direct to sellers.
Yeah, yeah. Or it's these guys is about catching them at the right time.
Mm. I remember you
So
saying that. Share a little bit more about that because that's so powerful.
yeah, I mean the is. you don't know when they're gonna do it, but they're gonna do it. They're gonna have to do something within that window. And sometimes one day they wake up, right, and they say, you know what, today is the day. Today I'm gonna do something, and it doesn't matter who calls them. Whoever calls them, that's who they're gonna pick it up and answer to. But the only way that you have the chances of that being you is that you call the most often, right?
Yeah.
You gotta be there. You gotta make the call, and one of those times is gonna be it.
Yeah, that's so good, man. Because I remember I tried doing pre-foreclosures, and it could get really, to your point, because they're not at that point where they even want to pick up their phone, or if they pick up their phone, they're frustrated, right?
Mm-hmm.
And understand they're not frustrated at you, but it almost feels like it because you're you're calling them, and you definitely need that type of mindset. What you're saying,
Yeah.
because if you don't have that right mindset, it could easily get under your skin, and you're like, ah.
Yeah, it's insane. And some people you'll follow. There's some people that I follow through the entire time, and they never gave me the time of day. And I know their household today,
Mm.
and she was just like avoiding it, avoiding it, avoiding it. But I wish I would have called. And I can't even tell you, like, man, I didn't call her enough. I called this lady too much, and
Wow.
she didn't pull. She didn't pull the trigger.
Yeah, because there's a certain process, right, in the pre-foreclosure area that you have certain amount of time where you could actually help them and stop that process from happening, right? Um,
Yeah.
and that's what you're referring to is like, hey, I've tried calling you several times, tried helping you, tried to give you a solution, and it gets to that point where it's like, yeah,
Yeah.
I've heard that you could even stop it the day of, right? But there has to be a specific. You're the guru on that. What if the day of an auction? What steps need to happen in
Well,
order for you to stop it?
here's the thing, right? The first step is that they will have to want the help,
Mm,
right? What are they going to do once they get this auction stopped? Is the real question,
mm,
right? Depending on which way they want to go. Now, if they sell it to somebody, right? Like let's say they decided to sell it to you, you could call the bank and say, "Hey, look, this is my bank statement. This is how much money I have in the bank. This is the where we open escrow. This is the contract with the seller. Okay, I'm trying to buy this. I just need a couple more days." And something like
mm,
that will most likely give you enough time, right?
mm,
They'll give you another month off of that most of the time, like 90% of the time, right? Now, now to even get here, right? The person has to sign a contract, and that's if that's how you were gonna stop it, right? Now
mm.
we have some people, right? Like we have somebody that what they were gonna do is they were gonna file an emergency bankruptcy, right? And they didn't even make it. They didn't even make it to the courthouse.
Oh wow,
They 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 told us that they were on their way, and
and they
then
didn't
when
make
they're on there, and then they're like, "Well, I stopped to get breakfast." And then
it.
it's like, okay, well, then they're like, okay, well, I'm back on my way. And then they called us, 20, 30 minutes into it. Well, my car broke down, so I'm going to go back. I'm going to get my cousin's car, and I'm going to drive back. Okay, don't worry about it. I'm on my way. The guy never made it to the courthouse.
Oh.
It's done. It's sold. It's sold to somebody else.
Oh
So,
man.
they had, so what I'm getting at is like, okay, we could give them the advice. We could give them the options, right? We could put them in front of attorneys. We could put them in front of whoever. But if they don't take the
If they
steps
don't
on
want the
their
help,
end,
that's a done deal.
it's a done deal.
Dude, man, yeah, that's why I was saying that there's so many different conversations that you're having with sellers compared to agents.
Yeah,
And the good thing, I guess not good thing, but with sellers, as long as they're willing to, as long as they need that help, right, that conversation goes smoother. Whereas as far as agents go, some of them are very stubborn, right, and
yeah,
they're just like, no, this is how I've done it for 30 plus years, and we don't need your help.
yeah,
Then,
yeah.
so, going back to, now that you've been wholesaling for how long now? How long have you been wholesaling?
It's like so it's gonna be 5 years.
Wow, 5 years. So, within those 5 years, especially your focus on pre-foreclosure. So every case is different, right? Because each personality is different when it comes
Yeah,
to dealing with people, right? what is one that like kind of like in your mind that brings you memories of like whether it was the house, whether it was the person, whether it was both. If you could remember one, like you could share, it was like, man, I can't. This is one of those that I don't forget.
Man, they're all man. Okay. There's one man I had. This was crazy. This was really crazy. I was on my way to a meetup, so we had this deal under contract for maybe like let's say 3 months. Okay, and the lady's just doing everything to push it and push it and push it. And she likes to act like she's gonna help us and she's gonna do her part. Oh yeah, absolutely. We're gonna we'll see you in the inspection. And the inspection is like, you know what? Actually, I'm gonna be sick. I'm gonna be out of town, so you can't come. Why don't we set the inspection for a week and a half because I'm gonna be out of town. And then it was always something. And so she always signed everything to postpone it.
That's after you stop the auction.
After I stopped the auction. I stopped the auction, then she's like, oh, yes, we're cooperating. Doesn't cooperate at all. Doesn't do anything on her part, right? So in my mind, like there's certain things that I'm already like, oh, I've seen this before. This person, they're not going to do it. They're not going to help themselves enough. They're not going to do anything on their part. This house is going to auction. In my mind, right? Like, because she wasn't participating. She was saying yes, but she wasn't doing it. So then one day, man, I'm driving and then we get a call. We needed something from the husband, but every single time she was like, oh, no, he's busy. Don't call him. I'll call him. I'll get it for you. Okay? So we never talked to the husband. We only talked to her. She wouldn't. She's like, hey, this is his number, but don't call him. Okay, I'm going to talk to him. Well, that day, man, like imagine 3 days into it, the house was about to go to auction again because she waited so long not doing anything. It was about to go to auction again, and we were telling her, look, we need you to do this if you're going to stop it, or if you want, we need to close. Like, we need to do something. And she wasn't doing it, so we're like, you know what? Let's call the husband. This doesn't make any sense. The husband had no idea.
Oh, my God.
The husband had no idea that the house was even in foreclosure.
Oh, wow.
He was getting calls, and he was just telling her, no, I took care of it. The husband was like working out of like in the oil wells out of state somewhere, and just sending money back every month. And now he was coming. He was at home for like 6 months and 7 months, and that's when he got home. He realized that his house was about to go to auction.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yikes! Yeah, that's so. Did you end up stopping it, helping it, or just?
No, they didn't do anything.
Wow.
They did. After that conversation, we told them. They said they were gonna figure it out. They were gonna talk to us, and then they both ghosted us. And then it went to auction. Like, let's say we had this conversation Friday. It went to auction on Tuesday.
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? With real estate investing, I'm assuming you did lose some money on that because you did stop the transaction before.
Yeah.
Or yeah, so in real estate, right, there is that possibility where it's whether it's a fix and flip, whether it's like this type of instance where you could potentially lose money, right? It's part of the game, and how do you mitigate that risk? Man, thanks for sharing that story right there, man, because it's crazy, man. You're dealing with somebody, and it's how you cover all your bases. I know the Adam Sandler always talks about that submarine, right? It's like you got to close all these hatchets to make sure you don't leave anything open.
And this is the thing. The lady's like, even when she signed, it was like, hey, no, my husband said he will sign, so just send it to this email, and he's gonna take care of it. We send it to the email to the husband, and then a few minutes later, it's signed. Okay, good.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So it was like, even if she was making it seem like she was talking to him.
Whoa, man. Dude, man. I'm so grateful, man, for you taking time again, dude, and sharing your stories. So, coming from a Mexican background, right? Hispanic, Latino background, I think something grew in you, man, from what you were telling me, your journey, right? Hey, you went to the army, you did IT, now you got the the bug for real estate investing. You looked at fix and flipping, right? And then you're like, yeah, it's good money in there, but I could probably make more money if I wholesale. And so proud, man, of how you managed to put all those pieces together. Because many of us, right, are either hey, we're just going to work our asses off, make a lot of money, right, but don't reach that next potential, that next level of either being a business owner, right, which you are, right, you're a business owner of your own business in wholesaling, and for whatever reason, I think a lot of us just stay on that complacency. It's like, yeah, I'm making good money, and it's like, so kudos to you, man, for making that breach and either finding somebody or by yourself. You were able to make that leap. That's awesome,
Thank
man.
you, man.
So for our Hispanic community members, Mexican members, man, any words of advice, tips, that you would encourage?
You know what? Even there's this one of my first deals was another Hispanic person, right? My train of thought was always like, okay, so who's gonna do just breaking in, right? Like just getting into this industry, like who's gonna give me the shot? Who's gonna give me the first chance, right? Who's gonna believe when I tell them, like, hey, I can do this? And they're gonna look at me and say, you know what? Yeah, maybe you can do it. And I thought it was gonna be like a Hispanic person. I thought it would be another Hispanic person that sees me and they're like, you know what? You remind me of my cousin. You remind me of my uncle. You remind me of your dad. You remind me of my brother. Let me do a deal with you. I'll do this deal with you. So that was my mindset. Even when I was starting, I was like, okay, well, I don't have a lot of money for marketing. What if I send letters to people that are with Hispanic last names, and I'll send them letters in Spanish, and maybe I'll get somebody that doesn't speak any other language and sees this and says, you know what, let me call this guy back. So that was my that was like my first deal. That's how I did it. So even being Hispanic, right? Like the only setback I think is like maybe your family or your surroundings or people not believing in you. But as far as you being able to go out there and get a deal done, you could get a deal done because there's a lot of people that look like us that are in tough situations like this and they don't even know where to begin to stop it or to solve the problem or anything, because there's not a lot of people that they know that look like us that do this. So they would definitely say, okay, you know what? Yes, I'll work with you because, they might, they might feel comfortable with you.
Yeah. Dude, that's gold, guys. Take it down if y'all want to. It's that's so true. Because that there is that saying, right? Your vibe attracts your tribe, right? And that's what you're saying, right? We resonate with our Hispanic community, right? We speak el idioma. We understand the struggles, right? So to your point, that's an excellent point, brother. Thanks for sharing that,
Yeah,
Christian.
man.
Dude, brother, I don't want to take much more of your time, man. It's been an honor to chat with you, man, and thank you for sharing your journey in real estate, dude. And if anybody wants to get a hold of you or follow you, where would they check out your stuff, your content, man?
I'm gonna get my YouTube channel going here soon, but right now just follow me on Instagram at christian.h.1.
Nice. Yeah, I remember last time you posted a crazy story about a house that got flooded. Right?
Yeah, man, I got a lot of crazy stuff going on all the time.
Oh man, that one was crazy, man. So definitely check out his content, y'all. He's putting mad stuff out there. Always closing deals, always helping people. Christian, again, brother, appreciate your time, and definitely look forward. Hopefully, creating an opportunity down the road, man.
Awesome, man. Thank you.